Welcome, everybody. We'd like to thank you for joining us today for College Days session on how your local community college can get you where you want to go. For today's workshop, we're going to welcome you to College Day. We want to tell you what a community college is and where you can find local community colleges near you. We're going to introduce to you our esteemed panel today representing several community colleges in the Bay Area. We're going to ask our panel several questions to get to know their experiences working at their campuses and the insights they want to share with you as students coming to their campuses. And then we're going to close with a Q&A from students. So again, we welcome you to College Day. This is an event powered by Silicon Valley Education Foundation and the Santa Clara County Office of Education, held during the week of October 19th to the 23rd. Thanks for joining us for this session. Please make sure to share this recording and all the other sessions with your family, peers, and community. My name is Meredith Curry. You can call me Mayor. And I'm the fellow for the Northern California College Promise Coalition. The coalition is a regional effort to bring together leaders, practitioners, and resources and share leadership over the shape of college success efforts in this region. Our community is focused on changing outcomes and systems for low-income, underrepresented youth in 4 key areas: aligning public policy, enabling the transition into the workforce, creating campus partnerships, and speeding up the adherence to best practices. We believe that together we can change this trajectory for thousands of Northern California students. As a proud sponsor of this community college resource panel, we wanted to start off with the question, what is a community college? Well, we're actually going to let our panelists tell you their answer to that question. But in the meantime, here's where they are. We have 116 California community colleges, and what you can see in this map is that there are several just within the area around the Bay Area. We encourage you to make sure to reach out and look up the different community colleges that you will hear from today, as well as other neighboring community colleges in your community. So let's meet our panel. First, I'd like to introduce Mario Flores, STEM Outreach Coordinator and Hispanic Serving Institution, or HSI, STEM at Mission College. Mission College serves the diverse educational needs of our student population by providing equitable access and support towards completing associate degrees and certificates, aligned with transfer and career pathways to meet educational and personal goals, as well as the workforce demands of the city of Santa Clara and Silicon Valley. Welcome, Mario. We'd also like to welcome Cleve Freeman, Transfer Center Director and Counselor at Foothill College. Foothill College is one of 116 California community colleges that provide vocational degrees and certificates, transfer pathways to 4-year universities, and promotes community engagement. Foothill College offers programs and services that empower students to achieve their goals as members of the workforce, as future students, and as global citizens. They work to obtain equity and achievement of student outcomes for all California student populations and are guided by their core values of honesty, integrity, trust, openness, transparency, forgiveness, and sustainability. Welcome, Cleve. I'd like to introduce Anthony Cervantes, Dean of Enrollment Services, who joins us also from Foothill College. Pleasure to have you here, Anthony. Thank you for joining us, Claudia Barbosa Daniels, Counselor for Evergreen Valley College Umoja Affirm. The Evergreen Valley College Umoja Affirm program is committed to supporting African American students to navigate and become successful in the community college system so they can transfer or jump into a career. Students depend on us to provide an education that will prepare them to succeed when they transfer to university. They depend on Umoja Affirm to teach them the skills they need to enter the workforce and to teach and challenge them throughout their lives. Thank you for joining us, Claudia. And last, I'd like to welcome Joe McDevitt, Director of Outreach for West Valley College. West Valley College is about success. It's about helping students create a future for themselves so they can contribute to a world that needs their talents, drive, and enthusiasm. They do that by providing as much one-on-one interaction with students as possible, and the results speak for themselves. West Valley is a beautiful 150-acre college in Saratoga with transfer and career programs. The college provides AA, AS, and certificate programs and a first-year free community grant. Welcome, Joe, and thank you to our esteemed panelists for joining us today. Now we're going to go into our panel questions. So for our audience, what we're going to do is ask the questions so that you know what's going to be asked and who's going to answer. And then we're going to go ahead and give our panelists an opportunity to answer one at a time. So first, I'd like to ask the question that we posed earlier. What is a community college? So I'll ask our friends at Foothill College to go first, followed by Mission, West Valley, and Evergreen. So who'd like to go first at Foothill?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cleve Freeman, as stated earlier. I'm the Transfer Center Director and Counselor at Foothill College. And kind of what was already stated, a community college is a place where students can prepare for their vocational careers, as well as transfer to a four-year university. It's also a place for personal growth, where maybe you want to take a few classes to learn something about ceramics or the makerspace, where you can use the digital computers to create like these plastic tools or artifacts. It's slipping me right now, but that's another popular vocation. We also have horticulture, automotive technology, aviation technology, nursing, radiology technology. So there are a lot of programs that students can take that they don't necessarily have to transfer if they don't want to. They can also take these other programs that are not necessarily majors at a four-year university, but they can take these other programs and still be competitive in the job market. So in addition to those vocational associate's degrees and certificates, we also have a lot of courses to help students transfer to four-year universities. Thank you.
So hello, everyone. Good morning, buenos dias. Just to really touch on this, just really building on Meredith and also on Cleve, right? Community college really is a peer institution, also known as a junior college, where students from all walks of life have equal access, equal opportunity. And really it's a place where students there's a plethora of opportunities, whether it's just a student wanting to build up some skills, a student wanting to perhaps obtain a certificate, a student wanting to attain an associate's degree, and or transfer, and or doing all these different opportunities just in one. So really, community college is a community where students can get support to kind of start off and launch their careers.
Thank you, Mario. Go ahead, Joe.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks, panelists. It's great to be part of a cool group. I'm Joe McDevitt, and you saw my picture earlier. That's me and my double called Flat Joe. Our campuses are closed right now because of COVID. So on my sign, anything important is on my Flat Joe. So I like to take community college and kind of flip it. So we're a college in your community, and we're here for you no matter what your goal is. As Mario and Cleve were saying, we want to support you in whatever your goal is. And you'll hear later on that you have an opportunity to start taking classes early to kind of explore college. I'm going to ask the audience, what's the average age of a community college student? Often I get the answer 19, 18. Actually, the average age is 27. So the college in your community is here when you're ready for us. Whether you know that you want to start at a community college and then transfer or move on to a four-year institution, or whether you're not really sure, you sit in my office, grab some Twizzlers, not red vines, and say, Joe, I wasn't a very good student, but I know in order to survive in Silicon Valley, I need some education. So one of the counselors, you'll hear that they're on our panel, maybe you'll sit down and you'll build a plan called an educational plan. Maybe you'll take one class at a time. Maybe you'll take a full load of courses, but we'll help you to build your path and use the community college to get you where you want to go. The oldest graduate of West Valley was in her 90s. So we're here when you are ready for us. That's what a college in your community is. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Joe. And Claudia, would you like to close us out?
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Oh, that's hard to follow up. I see you. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. And I'm from Evergreen Valley College with the Umoja program. And our belief definitely at Evergreen, very similar to all our other panelists, is that we are truly the hand to help you cross the bridge, to bridge you to wherever you're trying to go, whether that be a career, whether that be your transfer, or maybe you just need to find yourself and figure out what's your next step in life. That is what we're here for. And the beauty about community college is, as just stated, you can come whenever you want. You can take breaks. There is no time limit. We are here more as your family to accept you whenever and however, and to guide you along that way so that you are successful. There are many, many steps in your success, and you can change your major, you can change your ideas. One day, maybe you want to do auto. The next day, you want to be a chef. That's the beauty of community college. You don't have to be set today. You can come in and try different careers, try different classes till you find what really, truly makes you happy and what speaks to your character and your personality. And then we will help guide you and make sure that that bridge is solid so that you have a successful end. So welcome everyone, and we are here to service you.
Wonderful panelists. Thank you so much. And I so appreciate that you're already sharing the various benefits of your campuses, the programs that you're offering. So please make sure to keep giving us insights into your campuses, as well as this idea of you can come and kind of find yourself and take advantage of all these different diverse programs and resources. So let's go to our next question. So question number 2 for our panel: what can students do now? I'm a student. What can I do now to be a competitive university applicant? And we're going to start with Evergreen, followed by Foothill, Mission, then West Valley College. So back to you, Claudia.
Thank you. So the best thing that you can do as a student at any age is to come to any of our campus and just first take a tour. Although right now we are in virtual space, you can still get virtual tours. We have videos. We also have drop-in centers with different welcome centers to just tell you about what our colleges offers and actually show you. As you can see, like in the background, we have a very soothing, water relaxing area, and there's that bridge I was talking about. But to just know what is out there, as Joe stated, in your community for you to study in. When you're studying, there's nothing like studying somewhere you're comfortable at. So you have to be comfortable with the campus. You have to be comfortable with how to get there. Are there buses that go there? If I park, how far are the classes, how far are the buildings to walk to. So it's important to at least see the campus somehow. And right now you could take a virtual tour so that you can decide, well, whenever we do get the ability to come back to campus, I could see myself at this campus. So that's one option. The second option would be take some of the workshops that we offer. And these workshops could be anything from just getting to know the campus, learning about our special programs, learning about what our campus has to offer, orientations. So these are all things just to give you more information on the campus that you are going to select for yourself. Because although we all have general education, we all specialize in different avenues as far as career. And when you're looking at vocational studies or things to get an actual certificate. So it's important that you align yourself with some of the career paths that you might be thinking of on a campus where you can do both. You can gain some general education and also obtain a certificate. There's nothing better than getting the most out of your education. And then lastly, I would say, whenever you can, if you have free time, whether that be during your school day, if you're still in high school, and maybe in the evening, you have the ability to take an evening class, look at our programs. Everything right now is virtual, so we have a lot of flexibility with how our classes work. You can take an evening class with us, or you can take a weekend class. And then, of course, in the summertime, there's that ability to do some classes there. If you're in high school, you have the opportunity to do dual education, where you're obtaining your high school and your college credit. So those are things that all our campuses offer, as well as getting you a taste of college education and what that feels like to take a college class.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And before we transition, could you share where a student would go on the Evergreen website to find campus events or events that they can participate in? And I encourage our other panelists to do the same.
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to evc.edu, and my suggestion is always just use the search box, because a lot of our college campuses, until you learn how to navigate, it's a lot of information and you're just being specific. So be specific in what you're researching our website for, and just put that in the search box and say open workshops or upcoming classes. And then it will pull up some things that links that you could just directly click on, and it'll take you to the page where you will get all that information. But just use those keywords: workshops, orientation, open classes.
Fabulous, Claudia. Thank you. Go ahead, Cleve.
Thank you. How to be a competitive university applicant? That's a very big question. There are so many things you can do to be a competitive applicant. I'm going to try to make a short answer. Well, if you're in middle school or high school, you can start right now. Okay. Universities are looking at what you've done in your community, what you've accomplished in your community, how you have contributed or made the world a better place. It can be as simple as helping in a soup kitchen, or maybe helping a family member through a difficult situation. Wow, there's so many things. So what I would say is maybe start out with joining research projects with your middle school instructor or your high school instructor. That way you have something to show that, hey, look, I've been interested in this for a while. This is what I did while I was in middle school or while I was in high school, or even this is what I've done while I was in the community college. So definitely join some type of research project. Ask your teachers, hey, can I be involved in something in your class? I really like this subject. Also join clubs at your high school. Join, like there's a business club or a engineering club or a multicultural club. You know, join clubs at your middle school or high school. Be part of sports. Play an instrument if you have a special talent. You know, universities also, of course, they look at the grade point average, right? So definitely try to have a strong grade point average. But they also look at teamwork, right? They look at whether you volunteer, what kind of leadership skills you have, being involved in career associations. So maybe if you're interested in psychology, you join the California Psychological Association, for example, just something like that. Meet university representatives. Sometimes universities keep track of who's been calling them so they can remember, oh, this person's really interested. You know, visit the campuses, explore the university websites, as my colleague at Evergreen was saying. Now, just keep in mind that when you're doing these activities, or when you're involved in these type of activities, don't just do them because, oh, it's going to help me for transfer, right? You want to do them because it's something you enjoy. Okay, you want to do it because, hey, I really want to do this, and I'm really interested in this. So do it because it's something you enjoy, not just because it's for my transfer. A few other things that universities look at that can also help you be a competitive applicant, depending on your life circumstance. You know, maybe there's some hardship in your life. Maybe you're helping family contribute to household income, or maybe you're struggling with a learning difference, or some type of in college, sometimes they say disability, but sometimes they're also using the word learning difference. So maybe you're experiencing anxiety or depression. Well, talk about that, and how did you cope with that? How did you live through that? What was the outcome? They also look at students that are foster youth, for example. So if you're having a life hardship in that way, so they're not only looking for the 4.0 student. Okay, that's the main thing. They're not looking for the 4.0 student. Of course, they'd like to see those type of GPAs, but they're looking for a well-rounded student. They're not looking for a cookie cutter student. They're looking for the student that's going to add to the diversity of their campus, the diversity of their learning community. Okay, they're not just looking for, you have to have a 4.0 GPA. So please be mindful that you can have a 3.0 and still be admitted to a UC. And an example of that is something called the transfer admission guarantee, the TAG, where 6 out of the 10 UCs offer a guaranteed admission to their UC if you meet certain grade point average guidelines and certain course completion guidelines. The reason why I say 3.0 is because I know there are a couple UCs where you can have a 3.0 and still get guaranteed admission to that UC. But then there are other UCs where you must have an overall GPA of 3.4 or 3.5, depending on the major. So transfer admission guarantee. Also, if you complete an associate's degree for transfer, that will make you a competitive applicant to get automatic admission, guaranteed admission to the CSU system. If you're interested in HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, you can get guaranteed admission to over 30 HBCUs if you complete an associate's degree for transfer. So like I said, there's a lot I can say. I can go on and on, but those are some things that I think can help students be competitive applicants.
Yes, so thank you, Cleve. Thank you, Claudia. Absolutely great answers. I would probably just maybe emphasize the research part, really. Really take your time to look up or look into your the institutions that you would like to go to, right? Whether it's straight out of high school or perhaps transferring to a 4-year, right? You have to research because not all 4-year universities have the same majors, right? There's a lot of them have very unique majors. And so you don't want to just go based on prestige, on name, right? Because that's not going to help you if they don't have the major that you're looking for. So please do a little bit of research. And again, going on that topic of research, really also a lot of not only community colleges, but 4-year colleges also have specialized support systems, right? So for example, just like my colleague here, Claudia from Evergreen, they have the UMOJA program, right? Which focuses on assisting African-American students. There's also other support programs such as Puente that helps support first-generation low-income Latinx students, right? And so on and so forth. So really, it's about really taking the time to do your research, see what institution is best beneficial for you and what you're going to be able to get out of the most. Thank you.
Really appreciate it, Mario. Thank you. And Joe, you want to close us out?
I know you've all heard research, and we know your least favorite word in high school or middle school is homework, but you really have to do it. You've got to do it for yourself. The one thing I want to make sure, because Cleve did a really good job giving you an overview, whether you're going directly from high school onto the university, but I interpreted the question a little bit differently. Since we're all community college employees, I was thinking about how students can be competitive from the community college. What Claudio mentioned before is the beauty of a community college is you start fresh. We don't ask for your SATs. We don't necessarily need to see your transcript. We would like it if it's going to help you jump to the next level, but you get to start fresh and you build your GPA from that point. Cleve did a great job because we want to talk to you about what your goals are. And Claudia talked a little bit before, 1 week it's one thing, 1 week it's the next thing. So your goals might change, but we'll have created an educational plan for you, because if your goal is to go to a UC or to a CSU, to a private school, maybe an HBS, historically Black college or university, we want to make sure we know what your goal are, and how we can match that. So the beauty of coming to community college is you start fresh and then you build that GPA. You build that collection of activities. You partner with the different services. And I know Cleve mentioned the disabilities office or the learning differences offices. So we want to build on what you're interested in and then move you on. Some students are going to come in and they're going to get their degree and start working in that particular field. As I mentioned before, maybe they're going to come back and get some additional work under their belt because they want to be promoted or then they want to then transfer. So do your homework and remember this is a fresh start at a college in your community.
Thank you so much, Joe, and I appreciate that lens around the fresh start. I actually want to keep you on for a moment. You've mentioned an educational plan a couple of times, and I think it'd be helpful if you could just tell folks what are the top 3 to 5 things that should be in an educational plan, regardless which college they go to.
So all the students are going to be able to be assessed in English and reading. We don't have formal tests, but they will answer a series of questions, and that will help us to start with the right level in math and English. Someone mentioned before GEs or general eds, so there should be 1 or 2 courses in kind of the general area as well as 1 or 2 courses in your major. I'm not a counselor, so one of the counselors on the panel, or once you develop a relationship with a counselor, you'll work with that counselor with either in your major or within your school or college within your major. And unlike high school where Mrs. Torres does A through G and then the next counselor does H, you get to develop that relationship with your counselor and then you get to use them as a resource as you're building your educational plan. And your educational plan can change as your major plans, as my friend Claudia was saying. Great question, thank you.
And thank you so much for that, Joe, and thank you to all our panelists for giving us so many great examples of how a student, wherever they are at in their journey, can still find a place, find a home, find comfort, like in those beautiful backgrounds that we're seeing in your Zoom backgrounds, find community at any of your campuses, regardless of what their starting place is, regardless of their GPA. Thank you for that. And I just want to echo that if you are able to share your transcripts with your colleges, as Joe mentioned, that can help to make sure that you're placed in higher level college credit bearing courses. So whether it's required or not, we want to encourage you to consider that as part of your transition plan. So let's go to the 3rd question for our panelists. And for this, we're going to ask West Valley College and Foothill College to answer. So the question is, since we are in shelter in place, do colleges offer classes online? And thank you to Claudia, who did already give us a peek into the door that we can actually take online classes. So Joe, if you want to start us off, and then Anthony can go after you.
Sure, thanks, Mayor. So all of our colleges have offered colleges online for ages. I know that we all had to shift rather quickly on March 13th. I know West Valley, literally we had in-person classes, online classes, and everything in person shifted to online. And let me tell you, as someone who's not very techie, students, you're way more techie than me. I got these cool headphones, so I kind of sort of look techie, but I'm not at all. But we all offer online classes. And right now, West Valley and our sister school is Mission. So Mario and me are like this, brother colleges. Maybe I should say brother colleges, right, Mario? I have 5 sisters, so I need a brother, right, Mario? But all of our classes are online. Even our PE classes, believe it or not, are online. It looks like West Valley and Mission are going to continue all of our classes online in the spring. We want to make sure that you understand, and I know at Mission, and I'm sure at all of the other schools and colleges, we are doing everything we can do to support you in being successful. We have hotspots for students. I just got an email from a student saying, Joe, my internet is really spotty, so I met them outside with my mask on and gave them a hotspot so they can be supported in taking the online classes. We also just got a whole bunch of computers, Mario. Hopefully you know this. And we bought just 300 more computers. So I know another student emailed me this morning saying, Joe, my computer's on its last leg. And so she's meeting me at 12:30. I told her she had to bring me a grande iced mocha, and I'd give her well, she can bring me a coffee, but it's not required. So we're doing anything we can do, students, to support you. And I know between Mario and me, we have about 14,000 students, and we're doing everything we can to support you in the online environment. I know that our biology classes, students came by and we put in their trunk biology packets. Now, certainly they can't be working on cadavers in our labs here, but we've done what we can to support students in this online environment. And we're learning. Some faculty had never taught online before, so they're learning as well as you're learning. So definitely we need you to reach out to us as we're reaching out to you. So yes, online class is a reality of the COVID environment that we're living in right now.
Thank you, Joan. For our students who may not know what a cadaver is, and then I'll pass it to Anthony.
So cadavers are dead bodies. So if you are going to be a nursing student, a pre-med student, if you're going to go into forensics, we have bodies, and you open up the body and you learn about what's going on inside. Yeah, you would never find me there. I think I got a D in biology in my freshman year in college. But I know there are some students that is the coolest thing on earth.
Thanks, Joan. That's why I brought it up, because I recently heard a student talk about that, who I knew about that, but I don't know a lot of students who do. So Anthony, passing it on to you.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. Science, no, not my thing. Yeah, no, definitely. So Foothill College, Foothill and De Anza, that's our sister college. We were online even before, the virtual space took place. Foothill specifically, we were almost 50% online before COVID. So though our school was very experienced with online, offering online classes, the switch during COVID definitely, as Joe mentioned, some faculty had not experienced that online teaching environment, which right now, looking at this meeting, this is how it is right now. This is all of us in a room together for some classes, and some where you're individually learning and with the help of your instructor. But we have all the similar tools and support, as Joe mentioned as well: laptop loans, hotspot loans. We even received some CARE Act funds. Hopefully during this time, once you go to school and your turn in community college comes, you'll have online school classes still, but we won't be hopefully in any type of pandemic at that point, where you can actually have the option of being on campus or online, or you can do half and half. We also offer a lot of hybrid classes. So hybrid meaning that it's half online, half on campus. So you have that experience still, and have that on campus feel, and especially if you have a work schedule you have to work around. I think that's a big thing for online classes, and having that option is that if you're someone who needs to work, or someone who has a busy schedule, has other things going on, online school can definitely help out and make that schedule flexible for you. Personally, for me, I'm a first-gen student, and I worked a lot during my college time. So I would definitely have taken advantage of online classes if they were offered during my time in college, and it wasn't that long ago, but we really didn't have online classes at that point. But if you're not familiar with online classes, or you're curious to see what an online class looks like, and you're in high school right now, you can do dual enrollment and take an online class and get that exposure and that experience. We use Canvas, which I know a lot of community colleges use. We have a lot of great tools on our online learning website, so definitely take a look at those as well. We try to make a lot of videos and a lot of quick, almost like a TikTok video, where you just have a quick couple of 30 seconds, little videos that you guys can take a look at for some how-tos, how to log in and things like that. But definitely take a look at your local community colleges for their online education courses, especially if you're dual enrolled. And there's all the community-based courses too. So if you're even in middle school, you can look at our community-based courses that are open to all students, and there's no age restriction there. So definitely take a look at that option. But we're ready to serve you. We have a lot of online options, and again, outside the pandemic, before we were ready to help you and assist you online.
Thank you so much for that, Anthony. And I think it is important for all our students and families to remember that, or to know that all of our community colleges are already doing online classes, online programming in some ways. So they've spent this summer and the early part of this fall really refining what those are going to look like and getting ready for you. So thank you to all for your efforts. And Anthony gave us a great transition into our next question, because he mentioned dual enrollment. So our fourth question is, can I take community college classes if I'm still in high school. And I'm going to ask Mission and Foothill to answer this question. And if you can please, having Mario go first, if you could please talk a little bit about what the process is for students to even find out which classes or figure out which classes they are eligible to take, whether it's free or not, and how they'd start the process at their high schools.
Absolutely, Mer. Thank you so much, and it's a perfect segue from Anthony. So yeah, absolutely. So very first and foremost, dual enrollment. What is it, right? So dual enrollment allows high school students to enroll in college courses and earn college credit while completing high school. This is a great way for students to either make up credits and or get a head start on their college careers. So the process, right, to initiate this is really, first and foremost, you have to talk with your own high school counselor. Make sure you get the approval. Once you have that, then you have to, whatever institution you want to take classes at, whether it's Foothill, West Valley, Mission College, you go into their specific homepage, and there should be some tabs for dual enrollment. But just like my other colleagues, you could also just use the search box, much more easier. Type in dual enrollment, and this should take you to the website where you could download some stuff. And there's even, in most institutions, if not all, there is a designated individual or staff member that helps you. Nowadays, these forms are downloadable and fillable. So as soon as you fill them out, you could send them right back, and they'll get right back at you. The unique thing about this dual enrollment is that not only are you earning high school and college credit, but at the same time, you're able to start completing a college degree. Some of the benefits is that it allows you to explore different fields of study, and it allows you to complete your transfer classes much more earlier than starting right after college. Last and foremost, the cool thing about dual enrollment is that all the classes are free. So you would be saving tons of money by starting off early in high school.
And we do like to save money. So I will go ahead and ask Cleve to go next.
Yes, thank you. Mario answered the question really well. And by the way, all our panelists, I'm really excited to be here. This is a great panel. Thank you, Mer. Just to add to what Mario was saying, keep in mind that there are two different ways of being a competitive applicant when it comes to dually enrolled courses. Oftentimes we get the question from parents, well, how can my student be a competitive applicant when they graduate from high school to go to the university, or when they go to a community college and then go to a university? So please keep in mind that those are completely two separate paths. Okay, so when you're asking a college counselor, is it better to transfer from high school or do I have a better chance if I transfer from a community college to the university? Any high school questions, please ask your high school counselor, okay? At a community college, we're going to give you the perspective of, if you're taking this class in college while you're still in high school, this is how it's going to work if you come to this community college and then transfer to the university. But if you want to know, well, what am I fulfilling in A through G for my high school? Well, then we'll refer you back to your high school to answer that question. So please keep in mind that those are two separate paths, okay? Also keep in mind that you can attend any community college that you want to go to. You can attend 2 or 3 community colleges at the same time over your course of attending community colleges. Just keep in mind that if you start a sequence at one college, please complete that sequence at one college. So if you start Math 1 at Evergreen, then take Math 2 and Math 3 at Evergreen. When you mix up the sequence between Foothill, and then you go to Evergreen, and then you go to Mission. When you mix up sequences, it could all kind of mess up, and the universities strongly prefer that students complete a course sequence at one school. So if you're taking dually enrolled courses in math at one community college, stay at that community college to continue taking your math. But I think Mario did an excellent job of explaining dual enrollment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cleve and Mario. I think it's really important that our students know that they have this option early on, and that it's not just an option to help them get ready to transition to college, but also to help meet current requirements as they get prepared for college. So thank you for sharing that. So we've heard money be mentioned a few times. So I think this is an important question for students and families who are grappling, especially because of COVID and there's shelter in place. We've already seen an impact in terms of students really being concerned about the affordability of college. So I'd like to ask Foothill to go first, followed by Evergreen. But the question here is, what kind of financial aid should students take advantage of when they go to a community college, especially if there's any specific programs at your community college, and which financial aid applications should students be sure to complete? And I'll go ahead and kick it off to Anthony.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, the biggest thing you need to do is fill out a FAFSA, a free application for federal student aid. That is your ticket to seeing what you qualify for when it comes to financial aid. And you can qualify for grants, loans, scholarships. Definitely the community college right now, the biggest thing that we're pushing, of course, is the promise. And we call ours a Foothill promise. This is going to be a little bit different as you go to different colleges. We all have different benefits and that come along with it. Our program is a 2-year program. So as long as you're a first-time graduate student, you fill out a FAFSA, you go full-time, you get the benefits of going to college for free. And we also have books that would be paid for as well. So your books will also be covered as well. So please take advantage if the promise is being offered at your local community college. Look into that, ask questions about that. And it's really simple. Fill out a FAFSA and you're a first-time college student, you're good to go. That is your biggest ticket to your path of staying out of debt, which I know is huge for students. For me specifically, I was a financial aid recipient, and that did save me from not having to work too much while I was in college. But you can pay for everything from even your gas money to travel, things like that. Also, some additional programs that come off of sort of FAFSA looks at are things like EOPS and other programs as well that you may qualify for based on your FAFSA and your awards. So you want to look at all those programs that are offered at the local community college, at your local community college, because there's a lot of great help and assistance. So you don't feel that you have to take all the burden on your own or on your parents. We know tough times are tough right now specifically. So this is also a great time to really see what you qualify for. Again, the application's free. There's no, the worst case, you don't qualify for anything or something like that. There's scholarships, and scholarships are open to anybody. Always ask your parents about I always ask, my parents too, and see where they work at. They might offer, their job might offer a scholarship. So scholarships can be anywhere, and they're everywhere. You don't have to be a special 4.0 student to receive a scholarship. There's a different ways, so many hundreds and hundreds of scholarships that are just sitting there waiting for somebody to apply to. So please, they're small all the way to large things. So definitely talk to your financial aid office at your local community college. Usually it's easy to search that on the website. Usually it's probably on the homepage right there. But your FAFSAs are going to be your first thing to do. So definitely look at that and ask questions to your high school counselors as well. Your high school counselors usually will help you fill that out. So definitely talk to your college coordinator, usually at your high school, who will help you with that financial aid application.
Thank you, Anthony. All right, kicking it to you, Claudia.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony set the stage. We all offer those same packages. Evergreen, definitely, I would say, for any student, if you're graduating high school, that FAFSA, that is the only thing I need your mind to be remembering. Complete FAFSA. So you complete the college application, next, complete FAFSA. Why? Because FAFSA, as Anthony stated, will give you all the things that you actually qualify for. And please do not hesitate. If you come from money, if you don't come from money, community college takes everybody. But the FAFSA will tell you where the free money is, and what you want is free money. That is the beauty about community college, that we save you thousands. I mean, thousands of dollars if you choose to start your education at a community college, to a point as the Promise program where it's completely free. A lot of our campuses all have this Promise program. Some have different names. Ours is the same as Foothill, called California Evergreen Promise. And it typically is the same idea. If you went to any school in the San Jose, Silicon, Santa Clara County, as long as you fall somewhere around there, you can come to school for free for your first 2 years. And typically it takes 2 years in a community college for you to then transfer or complete a certificate. So just keep that in mind. You can technically do your first 2 years with a community college completely for free. As we stated earlier, the GEs are what's tackled in your first 2 years. If you are also going, if you choose, I'm just going to go straight to the 4-year, you're doing your first 2 years of GE, which is the same classes that you would do with us, but you have to pay at the UCs and CSUs. So here at the community college, you can technically do these things for free, which is where the FAFSA comes in. So apply for FAFSA first. Then once FAFSA tells you, oh, sorry, you don't qualify for anything, don't hesitate, don't be discouraged. There is a lot of money in community college. We find money for you. So the good thing is, if you don't qualify for anything on FAFSA, if it tells you, oh, you got to take loans out, there's this much interest, that's too many numbers. Don't worry about that. Just start looking into the other special programs, as Anthony also mentioned, on your campus. At Evergreen, we have SEAS, Umoja, Enlace, Aspire, and then of course, EOP&S. Apply for all programs. I tell all our students, all special programs are there to assist you in any way. And the best things about special programs is we go find the money for you. So apply for the special programs. They have everything from book vouchers, tuition assistance, meal vouchers, bus fares. So there's a lot of different things that you can obtain by being a student that's part of a special program. And you can be a part of multiple special programs. It's not to say if you become a Umoja student, then you can't ever go anywhere else. No, we are a community. That is what community college stands for. We are truly a community, and we want you to start utilizing all your resources within your community. So if you qualify for another program, we encourage it. We partner up with them. We make sure that you're fulfilling everything you need to, so that you can continue to obtain all the resources all our programs have to offer. So just keep those in mind. Whenever you're applying, please, please, please start with the FAFSA, then look into all the special programs, apply for all of them so that you can get all the assistance financially that there is. And then when you do have an opportunity to talk to someone, find out what their college promise means, how much money is awarded as a college promise, and then just make sure that you are filling all the steps, and you can also obtain what is asked of you if you are signing up for a certain program or the college promise.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And I'm going to open it up for folks who might want to bring up anything else around financial aid. But before I do that, Claudia, can you please tell the audience what EOPS is?
EOP&S is an awesome program. It's often for students that are first-time college students, first generation, students that either have families, students that are just looking for assistance. So they help you with a counselor, just as myself. You would have a designated counselor that you would build your relationship with, build your ed plan with, and truly design how the structure of your education flow is going to go. Then they have a lot of resources. They have scholarships, resources, workshops. They do a lot of things to make sure that their students are hold tightly and, like I said, still connecting you with bridges. So when you're a part of EOP&S, they have tutoring options. They have assistance with classes. If you're a DSP student, if you have any learning disabilities, they assist with that. So they're really a great program to connect you with other resources on campus, as well as assist you with any financial, food, or transportation issues that you might be faced with to attend college.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Claudia. Would anyone else like to share some insight on financial aid?
So there's also an application called the DREAM Act application. If you are an undocumented student, we are embracing you like every other student. We want you as part of our community, as Claudia was just talking about. And they look scary. I will admit it. The application, the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, and the DREAM Act application look scary. But I know starting next week and just about every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, I'm doing workshops with families, primarily seniors and their parents, as we walk through question by question so you fill that out. Claudia gave great examples of acronyms. We use acronyms all the time in higher education. So if you only come to the workshops to understand the lingo, I think that's half the battle. But look at deadlines. I know Claudia just was talking about meet deadlines, because if you miss deadlines, you're out of luck as far as getting all of this wonderful support. But the free application for federal student aid and the DREAM Act application, that's the foundation for getting, say, Cal Grant. I know that's hopefully something you've heard about, or Pell Grant. Again, we're going to explain all of that at all of our different workshops. And going back to what Claudia was saying, I think Mario talked about it too, go to our home pages in the search bar, type in workshops, because most of the workshops that I'm providing are actually at the different high schools, but on our calendar, it will list what high school I'm going to be, of course, virtually during the workshops. We will partner with you. They look scary. They're not so scary. It'll be about 45 minutes, but the most important 5 minutes of your life as far as financial support.
So there's also other financial aid that students can look into. If you get admitted to a UC, and you meet the financial eligibility criteria, you can have your tuition, all 4-year tuition paid off. If you meet the eligibility criteria, it's I believe the household has to make less than $80,000. So if it's called the blue and gold opportunity, the UC blue and gold opportunity, if you're eligible, you can have your UC tuition paid off for all 4 years. Also, for the CSU system, you can also get fee waivers for the CSU system. So if you meet the eligibility criteria to get free application fee waivers, CSU application fee waivers, you can get up to 4 CSU application fee waivers. So that's something else for financial aid. I mean, there's a lot of information we can cover, but I think I like what we're saying.
Thank you so much, Cleve. I really appreciate that. Okay, so if there's nothing else on financial aid, I'm going to transfer us to our last question for the panel. And we have mentioned transfers a bit, so let's make sure we give the audience a little bit of more definition to what it means to transfer to a community college. So the question is, what does support look like from your college for students who want to transfer? And maybe you can speak a little bit to also what courses transfer and where they learn about that. I've heard of a tool called Assist. And I'm going to ask to spend 3 minutes on this question. So speed round, 1 minute each. And I'm going to go ahead and defer first to Claudia.
1 minute? Oh man, transfer. Okay, go. So for Evergreen, I would tell you 3 things. Transfer Center. Transfer Center is number 1. You can have your ed plan with your counselor, and then you have to visit the Transfer Center and be consistent with the Transfer Center to see different workshops that they offer. And starting right when you get there is great, because the more information that you get in understanding the process, the better off you are when it actually is your turn to start applying, looking for waivers, and then getting your transcripts and everything together. So the more workshops you're taking, and you get to also get an insight from the different campuses that are available coming to the Transfer Center. They have so much resources at the Transfer Center. So put that in your mind. Utilize your special programs. Because a lot of your special programs have connections based on their program to different schools where they can connect you and do a lovely warm handoff to a resource there or someone to connect you to make sure that your application is looking amazing. Then service learning is another high one that I strongly suggest. A lot of our campuses do service learning, and it actually can go on your transcript now. So depending on however many hours you complete and how you go through their process. But that is something that boosts your transcript up and gives you an insight on doing service learning. And of course, if it is enhanced by your major, even better. So those would be the 3 areas that I would love for you to remember. And then aside from that is keeping on track with your ed plan. It is very, very challenging because you sometimes might get discouraged, but that's where your relationship comes in with your counselor. Don't be afraid to go in and make appointments with your counselor. That's the beauty of community college, is that we are the ground for setting the communication that you're going to have to do when you get to these UCs or CSUs or your career. You have to have a voice, and you have to be okay to definitely go in and communicate when you are feeling discouraged or you're slightly falling off. Don't be afraid to talk to your counselor and say, this is how I'm feeling. We mentioned Assist. Assist is a wonderful tool, but I strongly advise for you first to sit with the counselor and understand Assist so that you don't get lost, because it's so much information on Assist, and guiding it with your ed plan is the best way to do that. And once you've met with your counselor, then you can understand the structure of why your ed plan is set. And then Assist is always great to just kind of verify when they've updated their major courses. Am I still on track? Do I need to go back and chat with my counselor? I see that they updated to a new course, things like that. But definitely always check in with your counselor first before going on your own and making any changes, because the counselors have a lot of tools and research and connections to the colleges that you're looking for, to where they build your ed plan based on that.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Cleve, you want to go next?
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I definitely echo what my colleague from Evergreen says. Every California community college has a transfer center and a general counseling center. Please keep in mind that all the counselors in both centers do the exact same thing. So you don't only have to go to the transfer center, you can also go to the counseling center. We all generally do the exact same thing when it comes to personal counseling, academic counseling, transfer counseling, or career counseling. Each counselor, as my colleague has said, each counselor works in partnership with your students by helping them develop a holistic approach to meet your students' unique needs. So please, we strongly recommend to consistently meet with a counselor to maintain a focused path towards their transfer goals. Community colleges also offer career exploration courses. So if you're not sure what major you want, please take those courses, meet with the counselor. Let us help you in that exploration. Because when you apply to a university from a community college, you have to know your major. You can't all of a sudden decide on your major when you apply, because you have to show the university proof that you're ready for this major based on the major courses you've been taking from assist.org. Now, every California community college has a different numbering system, but assist.org will tell you these are the courses that transfer from your California community college to a UC or a CSU. There really isn't a database like assist.org for private schools or out-of-state schools, but please work with your counselor so we can help you try to find some of that information if it exists. But so yeah, I don't know if is that good?
That's good. Yeah, thank you so much, Cleve. And Joe, you want to finish this out?
Sure. Students, the only thing that I would caution you is the misconception that everyone else at orientation knows that they're going to go to a UC or CSU. don't stress about that. I think the most important message that you're hearing is it's a partnership between you and your counselor, whether that counselor is in the transfer center or, as Claudia did an amazing job talking about, all these different communities within the big community that you're partnering with. And I think, as Cleve mentioned, when you read the course description, it'll tell you automatically. It's like the test and you know the answer, whether it's going to transfer to a UC or a CSU or both. Having come from the private sector, usually if a course transfers to a UC and you're looking at transferring to a private school, primarily it's going to be transferable. And that means that you're taking those units with you, because ideally we're transferring you into your junior level at that private school, so then you have, say, 2 more years and then you graduate from that institution. You can take as long as you need at the community college, because we talked before that you can start with a few units, you can start with a full load. Maybe you're part of the disabled students program and that's too much for you to begin with. Some of you maybe missed a financial aid deadline, so you're paying out of pocket, but hopefully you've learned our lesson and you're going to meet our deadlines. So you're going to take that full load. But whatever path you take, again, it's that partner with that counselor to get you to that next level. At West Valley, we support you by holding a community college, huge college fair called the WACAC Fair. It's in the spring, and we have 160 colleges from around the United States and around the world, where in the past we would bus you over and you'd get to talk to the us that you see on the panel, but from those schools, whether it be from Colorado or Southern California or from England, that you get to talk to them about moving from your high school, whether you're applying directly as a freshman or you start as a community college and then transfer as a community college transfer student.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joe. And for our students, families, and colleagues in the audience, we hope that last message of your counselors at the community colleges really being your partners through this experience, and the reminder earlier that your counselors at the high school are also your partners in helping you to navigate what the transition could look like, what dual enrollment could look like. I hope that that's sticking, and that you definitely make note of the different individuals and colleges you learned about today. So we only have one question from the student audience. So we're going to transition to that, and then we're going to go ahead and thank our panelists and close them out. So the one question that we have from our students, because our panel did such a great job of answering the other questions, is can I take classes at more than one community college, and why would I do that? And as we call on the different panelists to answer that question, I encourage you to also close out with any other last thoughts or insights you want to share for students that might go to your campus. So who wants to take that first? Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say definitely you can take classes at multiple colleges. The reason why that might happen is that, unfortunately, as we're a community college, you have a lot of students who want to come to our colleges sometimes, and the classes could be filled, the one that you wanted. You definitely want to first look at if they have a sister college, like Foothill has De Anza College, they might have the class that you want. Again, if you still can't find it, right around the corner, we have our folks here at Mission College, West Valley, San Mateo, Evergreen. They're all in your areas. So we're so many, especially right here in the Bay Area. And so definitely look and see if they have the class you need. I think back to Cleve's point that he made earlier was that just be careful of those sequence courses, because you want to complete those. So talk to your counselors, again, back to the counselors, talk to your college counselor to make sure that is following your goal, your educational goal as well. And you can meet with a counselor at any community college. You can take advantage of the resources at any community college. Definitely do that. And I think that leads to my number one thing that I recommend everybody, especially as a first-gen student myself, is to feel comfortable asking questions. Do not feel that you're asking a dumb question. Go to every office, ask your questions. There's folks everywhere that are willing to help you. And there's so many tools that we offer. For example, just the other week, we just started, even if you're still a little shy, I have a chat bot at Foothill A&R office that is awesome that you can use and interact with as an AI thing. So you can just go back and forth asking your questions, and it'll help you too. So just to get you to those right resources. So take advantage of that and ask your questions. And we are here and use every resource you can. If you have something that's, financial struggles or anything like that, talk to the financial aid office. There's other There's a lot of other resources besides just aid, the emergency loans, emergency aid, things like that. So again, just ask your questions. We're here to support you to get to your educational goal.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Cleve?
So just to go to continue with Foothill, and then, so real quick, Makerspace is a 3D printer. My mind completely blanked out. It's a 3D printer. So there's some community colleges that are making face shields for hospitals. They're making these plastic parts and attaching a face shield to it using a 3D printer. So I wanted to say that real quick. Just to highlight a little bit about community colleges, all counselors will help you with scholarship and college essays, looking at your transfer admission guarantee tags, helping you review your university applications, provide you with up-to-date information about transfer, and create tailored education plans, as my colleague Joe said. So we help you with that. Now, in terms of going to different colleges, there's no problem. Just so you know, there are 116 California community colleges, and only 3 of them are on the quarter system. That's West Valley, why did I say that? That's De Anza College, Foothill College, and Lake Tahoe Community College. De Anza College, Foothill College, Lake Tahoe Community College. Out of the 116, those are the only 3 on the quarter system. So if you're trying to mix up a sequence of courses, you can see how that can be a little strange. Okay, so the quarter system means fall 12 weeks, winter 12 weeks, spring 12 weeks. And the semester system means fall 16 weeks, spring 16 weeks, give or take a week. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're deciding which community college, California community college you want to attend. Thank you.
Fantastic note. Thank you so much for sharing that, Cleve. Who else would like to go next? Yes, go ahead, Claudia.
Yeah. I would say absolutely, you can take as many classes as you want throughout all our community colleges. We would love to have you, but be cautious. Please, please be cautious. And the reason I say be cautious is earlier it was stated, if you're taking a sequence, if you go to a school, one of our colleges that has a sequence, it is very, very challenging to take one school sequence and go to another school and expect, well, I just need to do this one class and then I'm done. It doesn't work like that. So I tell you to be cautious, to talk to a counselor and verify why should I take this class at this other side. We oftentimes even recommend, because we don't have every single class at one college. And some colleges have different specialties. They have different vocational studies and things that can match your major or upper division major to transfer. So it's highly encouraged that you can take a class somewhere else based on your major, what your actual goal is. Just be cautious when you're taking that you've actually approved with a counselor that this is going to benefit your transcript and for you to transfer, depending on what your goal is. If you are looking just for your general, your GE classes, as was stated, some of the schools are on quarter system and some are on semester. So if you're looking to do it at the same time, that can oftentimes clash just because the time frame of the class and you trying to get to another campus if it's not online. So these are all things that you just need to consider. But maybe you spend one semester at Evergreen, another semester at West Valley. That's totally okay. The challenge for you, though, would be when you're ready to transfer. A lot of students that are in a lot of different campuses have to collect all these transcripts. And then we need to put all your transcripts together to then decide where you're actually going to graduate from and where you're transferring from. So sometimes that can be overwhelming and confusing just because you have to go to each college and you have to make sure that that college transfers or sends your transcripts to the college that you're applying to, all the colleges you're applying to. So that could be a little challenging as well as a financial burden for you. When you're at one school and you're able to just show on one transcript that you have all these classes at this school, then you're only dealing with one school and dealing with one admission and records. So it's a little bit less work for you. But to answer the question in plain sight. You can take classes everywhere. Just be cautious.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Mario or Joe, any final thoughts?
Mario, I'll jump in. We want you to have fun. I know we've talked a lot about building your transcript and orientation and transferring, but get involved. Again, it's a little bit more of a challenge, but we do have about 60 organizations on campus. Our sport teams are practicing, but of course, the actual games or matches are suspended for right now. But what they say is 90% of what you learn in college happens outside of the classroom, and we want you to get involved. Thanks, Mario.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Yeah, so really just to kind of close it off, I just really want to stress the fact that the importance of counseling. Really, just really quickly, the way we like to put it is counseling is like your GPS, right? It's like your Waze, your Google Maps, right? When you're trying to go to a destination, you're obviously trying to go in the right direction, making sure you're avoiding any traffic, any obstacles, right? And so the counselors are there to guide you, to help you get to your destination efficiently and as fast as possible. So just really want to leave you off with that. Really thank you all. It's been a pleasure being here with you all, and I hope everyone got a great deal out of this.
Thank you, Mario. And on behalf of the coalition, on behalf of all of the students and families who are watching this video, and on behalf of the College Day Committee, I just want to thank again our panelists. Thank you to Foothill College. Thank you to Cleve and Anthony. Thank you to Mario from Mission, Claudia from Evergreen, and Joe from West Valley. It was such a pleasure and insightful educational journey to just hear all of your insights, all of your best practices, all of your pearls of wisdom that you've shared with our families today. And we encourage everyone to please make sure to share this recording with everyone you know. It's going to be useful not just in the fall, also in the spring. You heard some reminders about spring activities. So please be sure to check out all these colleges and the ones near you. Thank you and have a great one.